HarperCollins presents Whistle by Linwood Barclay, read by Eva Kaminsky. For Neetha. Prologue. Christmas, 2001. It was starting to look like Santa hadn't come through for Jeremy. All the presents that had been placed under the tree had been unwrapped, and there was no PlayStation. God damn, he thought. Jeremy was only 7 and shouldn't have been using words like that, even when it was only in his head and not out loud. But his older sister, Glynis, who was 9, had brought him up to speed on forbidden vocabulary. Not that he didn't already know most of the words. He'd heard kids using them on the school grounds. He could have thought something much worse than goddamn. He also knew it wasn't Santa Claus who'd failed him. It was Mom and Dad. Glynis had set him straight on this score, too. "There is no Santa," she'd told him while he was sitting in the basement, watching an episode of Bob the Builder. "There's no guy at the North Pole who's going around on a magic sleigh to every house in the world in one night delivering presents. What kind of baby believes in stuff like that? And while we're on the subject, the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny are bullshit too." Glynis not only knew all the swear words, she knew how to use them effectively. And she knew other stuff, mostly from watching Sex and the City at her friend Sally's house, because they had it on VHS. Sally's aunt lived in Boston and had HBO and taped the episodes for Sally's mom. If Jeremy's parents knew Glynis was up to speed on the sexual antics of Carrie Bradshaw and her friends, they'd have a double stroke. Jeremy knew his sister was less interested in his knowing the truth than she was delighted to shatter his most treasured illusions. If there was something she relished more than tormenting her little brother, he couldn't think what it was. This particular Christmas morning, in a year when it was hard to imagine that anything good could happen, Glynis had done quite well. New clothes, new shoes, and one of those Bratz dolls, kind of like if Barbie went full goth. And sure, Jeremy got a Lego set based on Harry Potter stuff, and he supposed that was okay. But it sure was no PlayStation. But then Jeremy's father said, "Wait right there. There's one more thing." Didn't have a chance to wrap it. Oh, yes. This had to be it. Dad was saving the PlayStation for last. Well played, Father. Just when Jeremy thought it was game over, no pun intended, Dad was coming through. Jeremy's father slipped out of the living room, went out the front door without bothering to close it, allowing a wintry wind to blow into the house. There was the sound of a car trunk slamming shut, and seconds later, Dad was back, nudging the door shut with his body because his arms were full. He was carrying a cardboard box, large enough that his chin was resting on the top. Printed boldly on the side of the box was the word Tide. Was this some sort of joke? Had Dad bought him a year's supply of detergent? This was no PlayStation box, that was for sure. But Jeremy continued to hold out hope that there might be such a box within the Tide box. Dad was trying to fake him out here. His father leaned over, set the box on the floor, and let out a long, exhausted breath. "A lot of stuff in there." He got down to unfold the cardboard flaps, but then motioned for Jeremy to scoot over and do it himself. "Go for it," Dad said. Jeremy did, feverishly. He pulled back the 4 cardboard flaps, and before he saw what was inside, said, "I knew you'd get it! I knew you'd get me the play—" He stopped. There was no video game system in this box. What would Glynis say right about now if she were him? What the fuck? The box was filled with trains. Stupid, dumb toy trains. Jeremy looked into his father's face, unable to disguise his disappointment. No, you're gonna love this," his father said quickly, because the kid looked like he was on the verge of tears. "This is way better than some stupid video game system. Tons more fun, believe me. I had trains when I was a kid. Lionel and American Flyer, and they're still making this stuff, and trains are
Sample complete. Ready to continue?